Hi there, Tualatin library goers and Lego lovers. It's me, Blair Archer, here in the BRIX studio once again to bring you some more amazing, inspiring, and educational Lego programming right in your very own home. Today, I'm excited to share with you some new design techniques for building your very own creations. Let's take a peek inside the Lego head and see what we're going to be building today. It's animals! I'm super excited to be building animals with you all today. I know that many of you are familiar with some of the designs that we've worked on in the LEGO programs in person, but today we're going to take a look not only at how to build your own simple brick-built base for a LEGO animal, but also we'll look back at some of the designs that I've created and that even some of you out there have created and look at some of the amazing elements and techniques you can use to improve and build your own LEGO brick-built animals at home. Let's go over to the LEGO desk and take a look at what we're going to be working on today. Alright, let's take a look at how to brick build some amazing animals. Here are the pieces we're going to need today. If you want, you can take a moment and pause the video and go pick out some of these pieces from your collection and then rejoin me so that we can build together. As you can see, we have our 8 pieces here on our LEGO base plate. We have a 1x4 plate, a 1x2 jumper plate, which is special. A lot of you who have been in my programs will probably remember me telling you about what makes this piece really special, and it is the ability to build in the middle. So a 1x2 plate typically looks like this. It's got the 2 studs on top and then the bottom. What's really cool about the jumper plate is that it allows us to build at what's called a half stud offset. So right in the middle between where the 2 studs normally would be. Get to put things together like this. Really great for building our small animals. So we need one of those, one 1x4 plate, a 2x4 brick, 2 1x2 bricks. What I have here is this special shaped brick, which I really like to use for our brick-built animals because it gives the texture to the legs and makes it look like they have separate legs. You can also instead use a 1x2 brick in the standard style. It just doesn't quite have that same effect, but they're completely interchangeable. We need 2 of those for each set of legs on our 4-legged creature. The 2x2 slope with the 45 degree is what we're going to be using for our head. And then 2 of the 1x1 cheese slopes for our ears. So we start by picking up our 2x4 brick. We take our jumper plate and we attach it to one end of the brick. And we can take our slope and attach it to the other end. Now we're starting to make the body of the creature. For the ears, you take your cheese slopes and sit them on top, facing opposite directions. Giving a nice little effect there. And then we take our leg pieces and we sit them in the bottom of the 2x4 brick on either end, like so. Turn the whole model over, and you can add your tail. That gives you a very easy to build brick-built animal. And you can mix and change this design as much as you like. You can do simple things like adding in a longer neck, and really create some very different looking creatures. I'm going to show you some variations on this design in the later part of the video. Now that you know how to build this simple structure for these animals, I want to see what kind of cool animals you can come up with at home. And you can send in your pictures so that we can share them in future videos and take a closer look at all the amazing ideas that you builders have out there. Awesome. Well, now that we've worked on this simple model for how to build your own basic brick built animal, we're going to bust out some awesome animals from the past here that were designed both by you amazing kids in my LEGO programs and me, and we're going to show you how you can take them up a scale and add some different elements that will really improve their posability and their detail when it comes to expressing what kind of animal you want to make out of the LEGO bricks. So let's hop back over to the LEGO desk here and we'll take a peek at how these two creatures and some others were made and show you some elements and techniques that you can use in your own models at home. Alright, welcome back over here to the building desk. We're going to take a look at a couple of these models here. These are great examples of how, if you want to scale up, which means make larger the size of your LEGO brick built animal, you can quickly get into exploring some more detailed element applications, especially when it comes to adding eyes or articulation to your models. I'm going to start with mine here, just to give you an example of how, similar to when we went to make our robots a little bit more articulated and complicated, we're going to use the ball joint system to add articulation, which means the ability to move and to pose. So you can see that this model has multiple points of articulation. Each leg is a set of 3 different ball joint elements, and the tail moves, and the head and neck are also on a set of ball joints. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward build. Lots of bricks stacked vertically, a couple little detail elements here and there, but for the most part, fairly simple. The thing to remember, however, is that when you go to add in your ball joint elements, you want to do what's called sandwiching them in. So you can see that here, this ball joint plate here is sandwiched between these other 2 plates, means it's really stable. When you have a spot like here, where I don't have any inverted bows or slopes to cover this up, you can see that it'll come apart pretty easily because it's not locked in. But the part that's locked in on the neck is very strong. So when you go to use the ball joint elements, these mixel joints, in a build, make sure that you are locking them in between 2 other assemblies at least, so that they're very sturdy. What we could use under this chin, now that they exist, which they didn't back when I first built this model, would be some inverted half bows, such as this piece, which is a bit of a newer element. It's an inverted 1x2 rounded slope, and we can use pieces like that underneath in order to sure up assemblies that hang below your structure. Other important things that you can do when you're building a larger animal are to use pieces like these claw bits, which are 1x2 plates with this toothy or claw-like detail. They make great paws and claws and teeth. Adding in cheese slopes like these to give texture or to smooth out areas. And of course, the utilization of headlight bricks in various areas to allow you to build sideways. If you're not familiar with the term snot, it's studs not on top. For example, these headlight bricks have studs that face outwards rather than just vertical. That allows me to build sideways. So I cleaned up this edge here and then used this Technic piece plugged in to the back of the animal and a Technic pin to allow me to put this bushy tail on there. I'm not quite sure what this critter is. I like to think of it sort of as some kind of large Ice Age squirrel-like creature. We also have some of these grilled tiles here to give some furry texture. And again, the headlight bricks make another appearance up here in the head, where we've used them to create sideways facing studs so that we can decorate the head with eyeballs, like these 1x1 printed eyeball tiles in both the open and the winking formation. And again, we're using some more tooth-like pieces here on the front. These are actually the overhanging 1x1 plate with the tooth-like overhang. It's a modified plate. And then to create the nose, I used a 1x2 Technic brick with a stud in there, single round plate. All these elements adding up can really improve your model and bring it to a whole new level of LEGO awesome. A couple others I wanted to touch on quickly that use very similar techniques are this amazing rabbit from one of my programs. In fact, I believe this one actually came from the Tualatin library, if I'm not mistaken. One of the young builders there was super inventive when coming up with this adorable design, not only using the headlight bricks to add some eye detail here, but a really sturdy brick-built head that locks in all of those headlight brick areas and has the overhanging teeth, which just sits right on top of the rest of the structure. And use that very same trick where they've locked in their ball joints to create 4 very stable posable legs. And a couple of these clicking hinges here for the ears. And of course, a little fluffy tail. Again, using the headlight bricks. This one's actually a 1x2 modified brick. And then a jumper plate to create the center aligned element there. And last but not least, one of my favorites of all time was this peacock, which incorporated a pirate ship steering wheel to create the array of feathers on the back of the peacock. And that is just brilliant. I mean, thinking way outside the normal usage for that element to come up with a way to get the plumage to spread in all different directions, just like a peacock's does, in such a small scale. Again, using some really good headlight brick technique in here. This one's actually, let's see what we got. This one is actually 2 different bricks. One is, there's a 1x1 Technic brick back here on the back end where the wheel plugs in, and then a Travis brick plugged into that. And then, let's see, oh, and it's super stable because it's all locked together with a plate across the top. Just an incredible design out of a young builder. I've been holding on to this for a couple years at least now. I was just so thoroughly impressed. So no matter how simple or complicated your designs may be, you can start with something as basic as this, just a handful of pieces, modify it to make it a little bit more complex, scale it down to create a different kind of animal, or use the techniques to come up with all different kinds of creatures throughout the animal kingdom. And no matter how simple or complex they might end up being, no matter what you make out of Lego, it's always super awesome, and you can take it as far as you like. Not every piece has to be a 12-hour detailed masterpiece. Even the most simple build can be an effective and fun experiment in how to build new things out of Lego. Well, thanks again for joining me here in the BRIX studio. I look forward to seeing all the amazing creations you are putting together at home. Don't forget you can share them with us on our Facebook or Instagram page at BRIX EDU. I've already seen a couple of awesome creations come through, and they warmed my heart so much, because nothing brings me more joy than knowing that you kids and adults are out there building amazing Lego creations at home. See you next time. Play well.